Okay, so this is going to be the third video in this series of WCA competitions. So this is also aimed towards people who have never been to a competition before, and this is going to be what to do when you actually get to a competition. So you generally want to get there somewhat early, maybe 15 minutes early. That way you know for sure you're not going to miss the registration. Missing the registration generally isn't a big deal, but at bigger competitions they're pretty strict about it. If you're maybe 10 minutes late or something and the registration is already passed, they will generally let you register. But I mean, you want to be there on time. That way you're not making a nuisance of and you're not messing up their schedule, I guess. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is register. Generally they're going to have a registration table, and there's going to be a whole bunch of people around that with their wallets and stuff, and you're going to need to pay for the events that you registered for. The next thing is after you register, you're going to probably wait a while until the event that you are going to be solving in. So you're going to probably want to not sit by yourself for a while and maybe hang out with a couple people and talk to them for a while and solve and race and stuff, because just sitting there by yourself for 3 hours isn't very fun. So at competitions, generally what they're going to do is they're going to call like 4x4 round 1 or something, and they will list out a whole bunch of people that need to come, and you should bring up your cube then, and it has to be solved. They will make you solve your cube if it is not solved. I've had people do this to me before. They bring up their cube and it is not solved, and I make them come back and solve it. So at competitions, I'm just going to get into a different kind of angle so that way I can show this. So at competitions, you will be called up to solve, and generally what they're going to have is a cube box over it, or maybe even a scorecard over it. What you should do is take note of the chair first, obviously. Sometimes the chairs are really low and the tables are really high. Sometimes the chairs are really high and sometimes the tables are really low. Sometimes they're just normal, but you should try experimenting with standing up solving and sitting down solving, just to see which one you like better. I know some people like to stand up and solve, and I know a lot of people that like to sit down and solve. For me, I like to sit down because when I solve, I sit down at home. But some people, they will practice standing up. Just figure out which one you want to do. Next thing is they will have of course they'll call you up for your solve, and then you are supposed to sit down or stand up, and then they're gonna ask you, are you ready? And then what this means is I'm ready to start my solve, I'm ready to start the inspection. You'll have 15 seconds to start your inspection, and you can look at the cube but you can't touch it. Or I mean, you can look at the cube but you can't turn it. And so during those 15 seconds, you can start anytime you want to. You could possibly, they say, oh, are you ready? And then you look at it for 3 seconds and then you start the time. Generally waiting the entire 15 seconds is not a good idea, because there's always a chance that you can get penalties. If you wait longer than 15 seconds, you can start getting penalties, which is not a good thing. So, maybe do 7 or 8 seconds of inspection. Make sure you have everything that you normally planned out, and then start your solve. If you're really nervous, don't worry about it. It's your first competition. Just do a normal solve, and when you finish the solve, make sure you're doing. If you read the regulations, you should know how to do a time, a stop, and a start. You should use, the fingers and with the fingers. You can use the palms of your hand, but you cannot use the wrist. You're not allowed to start like this. Another way that you're not allowed to start is like this. This is like a karate chop, start, stop. I've seen people do it tons of times. You want to use the bottoms of your hands, the palms or the fingers, and start the timer like that. And make sure you stop the timer correctly. So that's it for actually doing solves, and I'm going to get into a different angle. I forgot a couple things. There is blind solving. Blind solving, you want to make sure you have your blindfold. I've seen people that go up for a blind solve and they don't have a blindfold, and they have to go run over to their bag and get a blindfold while they're doing a blind solve, and their time is included and everything, and it's just a really big mess. Make sure you have a blindfold. Another thing is feet solving. You may not be doing feet solving at your first competition, but it's the same thing as doing a solve with your hands. You should, they're going to say 15 seconds inspection and that kind of stuff, and you're only allowed to inspect with your feet. You're not allowed to inspect with your hands. And that's about it for some other things. Oh, blind solving. Sometimes you may, if you're going to do a blind solve that is over 10 minutes, you should generally ask the judge for her to use, or him or her to use, a stopwatch to time you. This is because if you go over 10 minutes, it will be a DNF. And if it is over 10 minutes and the stopwatch can go over 10 minutes, then they will use the stopwatch. But you will still start and stop with the stack mat timer. And you'll start with it, and then when you hit the thing, they will stop the stopwatch. So for etiquette at competitions, just like don't be really loud. I've done this before, and it's really annoying. If somebody gets a good time, don't flip out like too much, I guess. Yeah. Another thing is, this has happened to me before. Like during solves, people will still see me solving, and then they'll be like, "Oh my God, he's using XYZ cube," and it's really annoying. It happened to me during a 2x2 solve. Someone came up and they said, "Oh my God, he's using a V cube," and that totally threw off my solve. It's just, don't say anything that's going to be obnoxious to solvers, because they're focused and they don't want to be thrown off. So yeah, another thing is that you should really have fun, talk to other cubers. You're going to be there for quite a long time, and just talk to a whole bunch of people and have as much fun as you can. So that's about it for this video. That's pretty much it for people that have never been to a competition and want to know what it's like. There's obviously quite a bit of variance in venue. Some venues will be small, some venues will be huge. There may be like 20 people at the competition, there may be 600. It just depends on who signs up. So yeah, that's it, and we'll wait for the 4th episode.